After an appeal from Ukraine's president, European Union leaders agree to ban more than two-thirds of Russian oil imports. The battle for Donbas. We report from the front line as Russian forces close in on Ukraine's eastern region.
This might all simply be, just in case, a contingency plan. But if the Russians do blast their way through, they're going to need it.
European Union leaders have agreed a plan to ban two-thirds of oil exports from Russia.
The deal has been hailed as a major blow to Russia's ability to wage war in Ukraine. Our Kyiv correspondent James Waterhouse is with us now. Morning, James. And this is something that the Ukrainians have been calling for some time, isn't it?
Absolutely, Sally. And President Zelensky has been getting increasingly frustrated with the lack of agreement from European Union leaders about just how to punish Russia and keep the pressure on. Now, Hungary was split on the issue, its main reasoning being, look, if you're going to ban Russian imports, that's going to affect the rest of us in Europe. It needs to be more thought through. All the while, President Zelensky, the reason he has wanted immediate and tough sanctions is because his military, even with the help from the West, isn't able to force the Russians out completely. So this will be welcome news, but I think the effects of such a move from the European Union, while significant, it may well take time for that to translate on the battlefield as the fighting rages on.
Well, you mentioned fighting. There are reports of significant fighting in the east of Ukraine that we know about. What's the situation on the ground?
We're once again talking about Severodonetsk this morning. It's the easternmost location which remains in Ukrainian control for now, but the Russians this morning are claiming that a third of it is in their control, and should Severodonetsk fall, it would allow the Russians to claim the Luhansk region. It is half of the Donbas, which is Moscow's latest priority in this war. Part and parcel of this fighting has seen hundreds, if not thousands, of soldiers captured. It's not clear. We know hundreds have been exchanged, but we've spoken to one Ukrainian soldier who made it back, and his journey is quite remarkable. Metal scaffolding, holding together Khlib's broken pelvis.
Молодыня.
He also broke his jaw and lost vision in one eye. Khlib is only just taking his first steps. 2 months ago, he was defending Mariupol with the Marines, watching for the enemy.
I
turned my head and saw a tank aimed at me. I saw a bright flash. I felt the building collapsing.
He survived, but was captured. No one knew whether he was dead or alive until this video was posted online by his captors. He was taken to a hospital in Russian-occupied territory.
They held a dagger on my leg, up my throat, then led to my ear and said, "It would be nice to cut off your ear." They did it to nearly everyone. I couldn't feed myself because my jaw was broken and I couldn't sit up, but some nurses would taunt me by leaving food down in front of me and say, "Try and eat that, you low-life Ukrainian."
This is Khlib's testimony. We haven't been able to independently verify his claims.
We were lying there without any painkillers or anything. So only my faith and the understanding that I had to survive helped me to carry on.
While Khlib suffered, his church in Poltava prayed. He's been involved here since he was a boy.
I knew there were only two ways out of Mariupol: death or captivity. All that remained was to pray. The war has brought a lot of suffering. A lot of families are waiting for their sons to return. We pray and we suffer.
After 17 days, Khlib was released in a prisoner exchange.
The driver approached, patted us and said, "Calm down, guys, you're in Ukraine." Then I cried and tears streamed down my face. I was very happy. I still could not believe that I was in Ukraine, that I was exchanged, that I was in a place where you can breathe freely.
In war, capture is an occupational hazard for a soldier. But this conflict has seen people, citizens, taken by the Russians as they try to do two things. Either use them as currency in prisoner exchanges, and that seems to have worked in some cases, but also to try and crush their resistance, their fight. And that hasn't been so successful.
I want to go back and continue fighting for Ukraine to help bring us victory over Russia.
James Waterhouse, BBC News in Poltava. So the Ukrainian government is fairly quiet. It doesn't give much away on the specifics of the negotiations in terms of how prisoners are exchanged. But on the Ukrainian side, more war crimes trials are taking place. And on the Russian side, it's been suggested that some captured Ukrainian fighters could even face the death penalty. Special tribunals are being set up in the occupied territories in the east of Ukraine. And both of those will complicate future prisoner releases.